comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of a Funko Popcast. I am DK Wrestler.
And I am MD Shady.
And in today's podcast, we actually have a decent selection for you guys, especially because we are in the middle of Funko Fair 2022 reveals, which what a great time right now for Funko reveals. As we are recording this podcast, we're actually in the middle of day 2 reveals. But for this podcast today, we are talking about only day 1 reveals, along with some non-Funko Fair announcements also that will pretty much be kicking off the podcast. But for next week's podcast, we will be talking about Funko Fair reveals from day 2 to, I believe, day 4, since according to Pop in a Box, the reveals would happen from the 15th up until the 18th, which talk about the 18th being a great day because not only would it be the final day of Funko Fair reveals, but that's also going to be the day that we have Target Con exclusives being announced on that same day. So you got 2 sets of huge reveals happening on Friday, which I mean, you guys would already see them since this podcast is releasing on that very day of February 18th on the Friday. But also for next week's podcast, we do have the top 10 Funko Pops of February 2022. So it's going to be an insane podcast talking about Funko Fair reveals, possibly Target Con reveals, depending on how many Funko Fair reveals there are for Pops, and then doing a top 10 list. So stay tuned for next week's podcast because it's going to be insane. And this podcast is going to be great too because it's our 130th episode and there's some cool Pops to talk about. We won't have a What's the Hap segment because there hasn't really been much going on as terms to our lives realistically, besides maybe one simple change, and that's it. Without further ado, we might as well kick off by discussing about the first set of Pops, which essentially are the non-convention Pops, which essentially range from February 9th all the way until February 14th, which there's technically only 5 Pops here. So kicking off, Sour Patch Kids had announced their own exclusive pop of a Diamond Collection Red Berry Sour Patch Kid, which this pop is going to be exclusive to It Sugar, and it should be available now at various It Sugar stores and should be available online also. That was February 9th, but on February 10th, Funko had confirmed on their website of a pop for the director's lineup, and that is of Jordan Peele, which that is available now on Funko.com and should be available at various retailers also. Then on February 11th, Target had announced 2 pops for Target Con 2022, which one of them was already announced, but this one was a brand new announcement, and that is Becky Lynch with belts for the WWE lineup, which this will be releasing along with the other Target Con 2022 exclusives on Friday, February 25th. And then the last set of pops announced on February 14th, we have ourselves 2 variants of C-3PO from Star Wars, an orange chrome version, and we have a black and red version, which these will be given out to VIP ticket holders for the San Francisco Giants game against the Phillies on September 4th. So kicking off with the Diamond Collection Red Berry Sour Patch Kid, which first of all, I always find it so weird of why they call it red berry and not, let's say, like cherry. Maybe obviously it's not cherry, but I don't know. I just find it odd. But other than that, the pop, it looks pretty cool in the glam shot, but I have seen photos of like a comparison of looking at what the Diamond Collection version of this pop looks like compared to what the original one looks like. And I do find the original one to be a little better because although originally thinking like Diamond Collection would actually be decent for this pop because of the sour stuff that gets added to the Sour Patch Kid, it makes it look very dark compared to how, I guess, a little bright it is as terms of the common one. And it looks more like a Sour Patch Kid, in my opinion, when you get the common one rather than the exclusive one. Although I think either way, if you don't have the original one, you could get the Diamond Collection, but I think the common ended up being better. Then we got ourselves Jordan Peele for the director's lineup, which this is pretty decent. I mean, we don't really get director's pops all that much. And if I'm not mistaken, now as I realize, I'm pretty sure Jordan Peele, wasn't he one of the stuffed animals in Toy Story 4? I'm pretty sure that was the case. He was either Ducky or Bunny. I can't remember. I know it was him and one other person. I think that's how I recognized that name at first. And this is pretty cool. I like the detail of the beard and the glasses, and especially for being such a simplistic pop, it's pretty decent. Then we got ourselves the Becky Lynch with belts, as I guess Target Con is calling them. But I'm just going to call it as it should be, and that is Becky two belts. This is a great Funko Pop, honestly. It's actually a little bit long overdue that we get this version of Becky Lynch, because this is the moment when she competed in the triple threat match at WrestleMania 35 against Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey, where both the SmackDown and Raw women's titles were on the line. And of course, Becky Lynch won that match as the challenger, being the 2019 Women's Royal Rumble winner, and she won both of the titles. So at one point, she was defending both of the belts, which is pretty decent. I actually will be getting this pop for sure, because I already have the other two Becky Lynch pops, the one with the man t-shirt that I think was an Amazon exclusive, and I had the common version. So I think it would be really cool to add this version of Becky Lynch and this attire from WrestleMania 35. And it would actually be really cool if they made a Becky Lynch pop in the future of her with like her current outfit of being big time Bex. I think that would be really cool to have in the collection of mine. And then we got ourselves the C3PO pops that will be given away to VIP holders for the San Francisco Giants game, like I mentioned, for September 4th, which these are pretty decent. And I'm pretty sure, I wasn't too exactly sure in case it was a different pop or not, but I know it was either last year or the year before. There was supposed to be an orange C3PO releasing for a San Francisco Giants game. So I feel like this may be that same one, except it was super delayed because of obviously the ongoing pandemic and worldwide shipment delays. Obviously, this black one with the red eyes is new, and I kind of like that one better.
All right, starting off with the Diamond Collection Red Berry Sour Patch Kid. This is okay. I don't mind these Diamond Collection pops, but I think that DK did sum it up pretty well, that the commons did a very good job of getting the aesthetic down of a Sour Patch Kid, where you can kind of see the like citric acid of the Sour Patch Kid through the speckling that they have, I guess would be the best way to put that on the common pop. But I don't think that the Diamond Collections are bad. I'm so far behind on collecting the Sour Patch Kids, and I don't think I would end up buying these variations of them. But definitely when we do see new colors and stuff like that, that's always fun. So I could see people definitely wanting to get this. And I mean, the sticker's pretty cool. I like that it is a newer sticker. We have seen that sticker before, I think, but I do like the sticker. I think that's kind of the best thing, especially if you are an avid sticker collector on your pops like I am. Then we have a new director, and that is Jordan Peele, and this is awesome. It's kind of a shame that we didn't see a Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Key pop in a 2-pack. I think that would have been awesome. And to answer DK's question, yes, Jordan Peele was Ducky, I believe, and Keegan-Michael Key was Bunny in Toy Story 4. They're awesome. I believe they were on, what was it, Mad TV back in the day. So cool. So this is an awesome pop. I just wish we would have seen it with Key and Peele. Obviously, I'm not sure if Keegan-Michael Key is a director or not, but if we could see a 2-pack of both of them for, let's say, like an Icons lineup or something like that down the road, I think that would be really sweet and probably end up turning out better than this pop. Then we have Becky Two Belts, and yeah, this is a pretty sweet pop. I would say this is probably the best version of Becky Lynch. I mean, all of the Becky Lynch pops are pretty sweet, but I do like that they gave her both the belts. I think the attire looks good. There's lots of detail with like the kind of fishnets that she's wearing alongside her attire. The hair looks really cool, obviously, with the braid there. This is a sweet pop, and yeah, I'm not surprised that DK wants to pick this up. I think that if I end up getting a Becky Lynch pop, it would be this one, because I do think this is the best. And then we have the two new C3POs, and I was kind of disappointed when I seen the announcement for these, because I thought we were getting some new droids, and unfortunately we're just getting new color variations of C3PO. And I feel like a lot of people would probably agree that it's a little upsetting, because I know there are some people that just specifically collect only droid pops and not really any other Star Wars pops, or they at least make it a challenge to have all of the droid pops. And droid pops are really cool. I do have the C3PO from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and I think that that pop is phenomenal with all the wiring. But C3PO pops in general are really cool. The orange chrome, kind of cool. I don't mind it, actually. It's better than seeing like a chrome Batman or a chrome Vegeta or Goku or something like that. So that's decent. But the black one with the red eyes is really cool looking. kind of upset that that's not some new droid that I don't know about.
Are you looking for great pop protectors? Then look no further than popbox.ca. They have a variety of 4-inch and 6-inch protectors in different quantities. Do you want to get 10 protectors, 20? You can get even up to 250 pop protectors over on popbox.ca. And also use our promo code of Funko Popcast for 10% off of your entire purchase of pop protectors. The code is going on until supplies last. So go get your pop protector needs now over on popbox.ca using our code of Funko Popcast to get 10% off.
And let me tell you guys, we're not just screwing around here. These are some great pop protectors. We own a multitude of these protectors. They are some of the best I've seen. Stop buying from EB Games. I'm not boycotting EB Games by any means, but their pop protectors are not as good. So again, use code of Funko Popcast for 10% off.
All right, so now we're going to move on to Funko Fair 2022 Day 1 reveals. Like I mentioned earlier, Day 2 to 4 will be on next week's podcast. Without further ado, we will kick off talking about the first set of pop reveals, which is of Boruto, Naruto's Next Generation, I'm pretty sure it's called, which this set we have common pops of Cho-Cho, Boruto with Marks, Kawaki, Inojin, and Shikade, with exclusive pops of a glow-in-the-dark Boruto with Marks, which will be exclusive to Entertainment Earth. And then we have ourselves a Sasuke, which has a 1-in-6 glow-in-the-dark chase that will be exclusive to Chalice Collectibles. And then we have a glow-in-the-dark Kawaki, which will be exclusive to Hot Topic. And these are expected to release as early as this month. Then we got ourselves pops for the video game Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which we got ourselves pops of Tiny Tina, Butt Stallion, Paladin Mike, and Dragon Lord, which these are expected to release as early as April 2022. Then we got ourselves pops for the video game Apex Legends, which we got ourselves Watson, Crypto, Revenant, and Octane, which these are also expected to release as early as April 2022. We got pops for the movie Legally Blonde, which are 4 variants essentially of Elle Woods. One is of her called Elle Woods' son, Elle Woods in the bunny suit, Elle Woods with Bruiser, and then we got ourselves a Diamond Collection Elle Woods in bunny suit, which will be exclusive to Entertainment Earth, and these are expected to release as early as June 2022. Then we got ourselves from Batman Forever. It's an artist series Two-Face, which will be exclusive to Target. A Wonder Woman pop comic covers, which is expected to release as early as April 2022. Then going to the Pop Rocks lineup, we have ourselves new Britney Spears pops, which we have ourselves Circus variant of Britney Spears, which has a 1-in-6 hat chase. And we have ourselves a pop albums of Oops, I Did It Again, which will be exclusive to Walmart. And these are expected to release also as early as April 2022. Next up, we have ourselves Knucklehead from Five Finger Death Punch, which is expected to release as early as April 2022. And last but not least, for Day 1 of Funko Fair 2022 reveals, we got ourselves Be Real as Dr. Green Thumb from Cypress Hill, in which this is expected to release as early as April 2022. So kicking off with the Boruto pops, Boruto Naruto Next Generations. These pops are really decent. I really like the character. I think it's Cho-Cho that's on the far left of the common side that has the really big fist. I think that's really cool in detail with the hair. Overall, these are some cool detailed pops, especially Boruto himself with the one colored eye and kind of like that marking that's going on. I think that's really decent. And the exclusive pops are also pretty decent. I mean, you do have the glow in the dark version of Boruto, and that's really the only change that's glow in the dark. But then you have essentially a pop that wasn't in the commons section, which is Sasuke, which obviously was a popular character in Naruto. So I'm not surprised that they made another Sasuke, especially for Boruto, because they already have a couple of Sasuke's for that lineup. But I'm really interested to see how this is in person, because judging by the glam shot, what's going to happen when it glows in the dark, it's not just going to be the lightning energy around the sword there, but it's also going to be the 2 different color eyes, and even the hair, when it's normally black, it will glow blue in the dark. And then the Hot Topic exclusive glow in the dark, also pretty decent. I like it better than the Boruto just because at least they changed the different moldings of the hand positions as terms of the common and the exclusive version of this character. And I like how they added kind of like the scarring on the eye there that also glows in the dark red. Then we got Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which I think I discussed on what would have been yesterday's video, but it would have been, I guess you should say Wednesday's video, or not yesterday. It would be today's video, actually, as we are recording this, but recorded yesterday of day one reveals for Funko Fair as terms to like reactions. Not really knowing what Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is after reading some of the comments from the comment section below on Instagram. This does tie in with Borderlands because of Butt Stallion, who I had mentioned was already made into Funko Pop form for the Borderlands lineup. So I'm not sure if this was like a separate game, or I think someone actually mentioned this was like a DLC expansion for Borderlands. Yeah, I really enjoy the detail of all four of these pops, to be honest. I like the hair of the one character on the bottom left. You have the outfit of the top left, Butt Stallion with the new pose. That's really cool. But I really like the detail involving the Dragon Lord character. It really gives me a Dungeons and Dragons vibe with that character. And then what's especially really cool, and I'm sure MD is going to mention about it, and I did slightly mention it on the video, I guess I should say today, but I should say earlier this week, about the GameStop exclusive logo that's going on there, and that might be a sticker on future GameStop Canada exclusive pops, which would be amazing. Then we got ourselves pops for Apex Legends, which I'm a little surprised, but I'm not a little surprised that we're getting more Apex Legends pops, mainly because I felt like at least Apex Legends is a popular game, but I thought it was going down, at least in our area, kind of down the Fortnite route of like, there was a lot of shelf sitter pops for this lineup, and it almost made me think like, oh, there's probably a possibility that they're not going to make like a wave 2 or 3 of Apex Legends pops, but they are. And it's 4 commons. And I think people were really excited about Octane, which is the bottom character right there. Then we got pops for Legally Blonde, which I think these are pretty decent. I'm not surprised that they just did the one character. I feel like Legally Blonde was one of those movies from what I remember. You don't need to make more than just one character for that movie, especially for right now. I think just doing different variants of like one character is perfectly fine. Then we got ourselves the Two-Face Artist Series pop from Batman Forever. And like, I guess I'll go into a little bit of explanation of how this is not the greatest Artist Series pop. I mean, the majority of Artist Series pops aren't that great. I'll give Funko credit of the idea of obviously splitting 2 colors in half. You got like the pink side, and then you have yourselves the purple side. I think that definitely makes sense. But I mean, all the art is essentially the coin that Two-Face is essentially flipping. And then I can't even tell what else is on there. I think it's one of those, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like essentially like if you put a couple of things there and it balances out and see like, oh, if one thing's heavier, then the one side will go down and the other side will go up, or if they're the same weight, then they'll go even. It's one of those things. I don't remember the exact name for it, but I'm sure everyone understands what I'm trying to discuss about. But overall, this is not a great Artist Series pop. Then we got ourselves the Wonder Woman pop comic covers of Wonder Woman Rebirth, which I like the cover, obviously, but I kind of don't like how this pop was executed because of the fact that I felt like this should have been more of a deluxe covers, because on the cover itself, Wonder Woman is sitting on a throne, and I feel like they only added bits and pieces of what's going on that poster involved with this pop. Like you can even see like the skull on the bottom of the cape there, that's a part of the throne, but you clearly don't see the throne at all as terms to the actual pop inside of the comic covers. I think this is still pretty decent though. Then we got ourselves the new Britney Spears pops, which I'll start off with talking about the circus pops. These are pretty decent. I can't exactly remember Circus, to be honest. And when I first looked at the chase, it looks like from the way the picture is that I thought this was like, not only is it a chase with the hat, but I thought the hat was Diamond Collection because of the way of how the hat looks a little bit grainy. So I thought maybe they would have added some glitter to this pop, but I don't think it is. So that's kind of a bit of a down in my opinion. But I mean, I feel if you are a Britney Spears fans, you're probably going to want to get both of these pops. But I feel, at least in my opinion, if I were to, let's say, not even do chase roulette with this pop, let's say I order one pop and then I just end up getting the common, I wouldn't be disappointed that I didn't get the chase, because I think regardless, I think either one is still pretty decent. And then we got ourselves the pop albums. number 26 in the pop albums lineup, Oops, I Did It Again, which will be a Walmart exclusive. And this is okay. I mean, I'm not surprised, obviously, that Britney Spears would get her own pop albums. But at the same time, there's already been a decent amount of Britney Spears pops as there is. So it definitely makes sense that there is a albums. Then we got ourselves Knucklehead from Five Finger Death Punch, which this thing is fucking awesome. Like, this has a lot of detail involved with this pop. I don't really listen to Five Finger Death Punch all that much. I do have one song on my Spotify playlist, which I think the song was Hell to Pay, that I used to work out. And this pop is pretty cool. I'm assuming, because I don't really follow Five Finger Death Punch all that much, that Knucklehead is like their mascot. So like how Eddie is to Iron Maiden. So just seeing the detail with like the bloody handprint with the splatter, the number 5, the way they executed the eyes where it's black and then you have the red X's, even with the mouth holding the brass knuckles is awesome. And then even just the simplistic detail of the shirt and the camel pants are really detailed. And I feel that if there is more than one Knucklehead, like let's say Knucklehead is the only character they have as like a mascot and there's different versions of them, then I feel like Funko should pump out more Knucklehead pops, especially if they are as detailed or even more detailed than this one that we have here for Funko Fair. Then last but not least, for Funko Fair Day 1 reveals, we have ourselves Be Real as Dr. Green Thumb from Cypress Hill. And this is actually a pretty decent pop. I had to watch the music video last night because I barely know about Cypress Hill. And when watching the video, I mean, I looked at what Be Real looks like in the video and essentially how I'd compare it to the pop. And I think it's pretty decent, to be honest. I like the detail of the syringe with the green vial in there. He's holding the plant, which I think they're doing operation on during the video. And then he also has like the fake teeth in his mouth, which is really funny. And then he has like the nerd glasses, which I think is also pretty sweet. I felt like, though, because I remember seeing it in the music video, I felt like they should have added a green splatter to the white jacket, because I remember when watching the music video last night that there was a green splatter on his shirt at some point. So it would have been actually a little better in detail if they did do that for this pop. But overall, I know that there is actually quite a bit of hype going to this, especially because I don't think we had Cypress Hill pops up until this point. And I think it was a requested thing for fans for wanting Funko to do is make Cypress Hill pops. So I guess it's cool in that aspect.
Okay, we're finally here to Funko Toy Fair 2022, and the first day was pretty decent, actually. So starting off with the Boruto pops, this is a pretty cool line of pops. I think that a lot of people are probably excited about this, especially if you are, 1, an anime fan, or 2, a Naruto slash Boruto fan. I mean, this has a lot of good stuff going on with it. I mean, the chase version of Sasuke is really freaking cool. I'm not surprised that the pre-orders are already out, because that's very interesting, especially considering the hair will be going blue, as we see, rather than the black on the common. So I would like to see what the chase actually looks like, if the hair is indeed blue in it, or if it stays black and then when it's glow in the dark somehow it does glow blue. I think that that is really neat. I do really enjoy all 3 of these glow in the dark pops. I think that they are kind of the highlights of the set. It's just unfortunate reading through the comments that there's not as much hype on it as there should be, because a lot of people are more hyped about seeing No Way Home pops, which I do think we will end up seeing. It'll probably be on the last day or one of the final days of the announcements, but it's just a shame that a lot of these really cool pops are not getting the recognition that they deserve, I guess, because people are really picky and want to see Spider-Man pops. I do want to see No Way Home pops. I'm not hating on them. I do think I will be collecting all of them, but I think that other pops should get to the 15 minutes of fame that they deserve, or in this case, the half an hour to an hour, because for some reason, Funko hasn't decided what time they are going to post on their Instagram, whether it's going to be half an hour or an hour. Moving on to the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands pops. I knew that this had to have been something that I know about, because the unicorn, I knew that the butt stallion, I knew that I've seen that pop before. And I'm like, that's got to be Borderlands. So then I ended up Googling it. And yes, it is Borderlands. And I was thinking, I was like, we've seen this pop. I know we have, but this set is really cool. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I do think these pops look amazing. I mean, there's so much detail going on. And DK did a pretty good job of taking the words out of my mouth and saying that it is kind of Dungeons and Dragons like, with that last pop. This is a decent set of pops, though. I think that there's a good mixture of characters in here. I don't know if there's more characters that they could announce or anything because I don't know anything about this, but I do think that there's a good mix of characters with the female and the unicorn, and then like a normal kind of human, and then that monster thing. I don't know exactly what you'd call it, a demon, I guess I'll call it. So that's really interesting. And I do think that these will probably sell pretty decently. And I guess I should mention that GameStop Canada sticker, which I'm hoping is going to be a sticker. I noticed that and I marked out pretty huge because I'm really missing our old EB Games Canada sticker. I mean, I do have some in my collection, but not seeing them in stores anymore is kind of unfortunate. So this is awesome because it keeps the originality of the old sticker and you just throw the GS on there, which I think is a good idea. And then we finally have a new wave of Apex Legends, and this is decent. I think that these characters look great. I mean, they're pretty much just like any other Apex characters. You kind of don't expect anything less. They look like the characters look in the game, and they have a lot of detail. And I'm sure people are hyped because recently I had been seeing a ton of comments on Funko's Instagram saying, like, we need more Apex Legends pops. So I guess people still play that game. I don't know. I haven't played it in quite some time. Then we have the wave of pops for Legally Blonde, and DK summed this one up as well, that you don't really need any other characters for Legally Blonde, any that I can think of at least. I think that getting 3 different pops here and then the Diamond Collection variation is pretty good. I do think that the Diamond Collection one is actually the best pop in this wave. I think that it makes sense to be Diamond Collection, and I think that it'll probably turn out pretty good. The glam shot makes it look like it will be good. These are cool. I mean, they do have somewhat resemblance of Reese Witherspoon, so I think that is pretty cool, and I could definitely see these pops doing well as well. Then we have the Target exclusive artist series Two-Face, and I think that this is decent. I don't hate this pop. I think that it's a good idea of having the 2 different colors. I mean, if they didn't do that, this would be ridiculous. So that's cool. I like the fact that you have the like tiger or not tiger stripes, the zebra stripes, I believe is what it is, kind of as the background of the art, if you want to call it art, on the pop itself. The coins are a little different. I mean, they got to throw something on there so it makes sense. And then what looks to be what DK was talking about, a scale, I think is the word he was looking for. It looks all right, I guess. It's definitely not one of my favorite artist series pops, but I can't hate on it too much. Then we have the Wonder Woman comic cover, and this is pretty cool. I don't mind this. I like the cover itself. I think that that's a cool looking cover, and the pop itself is pretty decent as well. You have kind of that like robe dress kind of thing wrapped around her, and then you also have the popified skull on the bottom, which I think is a nice added touch. I do think DK's idea of having this be kind of a deluxe album where you can have a lot more that's going on in this would be better, even if they could have just thrown in a couple of those what looked to be doves kind of floating above her head. I think that that would have made this pop like a lot better than what it is. But that being said, this is definitely a decent comic cover. Then we have some new Britney Spears pops, and I don't know if this was exactly needed. We've definitely seen a good amount of Britney Spears pops so far, but I do think that the comic cover is awesome. I think that that's a great one. I might end up getting this. I don't know. I'm kind of starting to be a little more pick and choosy with what comic or not comic covers, what album covers I'm getting because I'm running out of space. My album cover shelf is actually full right now. There's no more to be put on there, but there are more that I still need to get, especially with the deluxe covers that are coming out. Those are awesome and they're just huge. So I might pick this up because I do think it is a really decent album cover, but I don't know. And then the Britney Spears with the Chase variation, I think that DK also summed it up pretty well that if you were to buy one, if you got the Chase, awesome. That's pretty cool. But if you get the common, that's all right as well. I think only people who are either doing a complete collection of Britney Spears pops would want that Chase, or someone who is just a complete fanatic of Britney Spears herself would want both versions. But other than that, it's definitely not the greatest Chase. Then we have Knucklehead from Five Finger Death Punch, and this is pretty cool. This is something that I never would have thought that we would see, but there is a ton of detail going on with this. I love the mold of the skull itself. I think is great. The brass knuckles in the mouth is awesome. I love how they have the paint app of the hand with the 5 on it. I think that makes this pop look so cool. The eyes having the X's out of them is really cool. And then the body itself is actually not a bad body. I mean, it has the Five Finger Death Punch shirt on, which is great. This is an awesome pop. I was thinking that this would potentially be a candidate for one of the best Pop Rocks pops of the year. But then we go on to see Dr. Green Thumb, and this is just ridiculously cool. Cypress Hills pops. I've definitely seen a lot of people wanting Cypress Hill pops, so it's cool to see that we got one. I hope we do see some other variations of Cypress Hill, but Be Real as Dr. Green Thumb is awesome. There's a lot of detail going on with it, and the music video is really cool. So it's awesome to see it represented in pop form. I think that this is awesome, and hopefully we do see a lot of other cool pops like this at the remainder of the next few days of Toy Fair.
And before we end this podcast, we might as well mention what our favorite and least favorite pop was as terms to day one of Funko Fair, which I technically mentioned it on the day one reveals and will continue mentioning throughout the other days for the videos. But I will mention least favorite would have to be the Two-Face pop. That's the artist series. But my favorite has to be Knucklehead from Five Finger Death Punch.
That's actually not a bad least favorite and favorite for sure. And I would have to agree. My least favorite is the art series Two-Face, just because that's the one I could see myself least buying, I guess. And then my favorite has to be the Dr. Green Thumb, because I did say I liked it better than the Knucklehead, though the Knucklehead is also an awesome second place candidate.
Anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of this week's podcast. If you enjoyed this week's podcast that included day one of Funko Fair 2022 reveals, make sure you smash that like button. Comment in the comment section below and let us know your opinions of the overall Funko Fair reveals. Press the subscribe button for more content like this podcast and any other videos we do on this channel in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. And if you guys haven't yet, follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at A Funko Podcast. It'll be listed in the description below. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening to this week's podcast, and we hope to see you guys next week for the remaining pops for Funko Fair 2022 and our top 10 Funko Pops of February 2022. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
Insane in the membrane. Peace in, peace out.